as well. Like
that's what I do as well.
Cool. I love it. It's on your page
yesterday.
Right? Oh, I see it. It's in my feed.
And then let me hit the record button once it gets like set up.
Okay, cool.
I was listening to you and Jeffrey at one point in time, and Jeffrey's like 49 steps behind you, and you're like, I'm watching it. And he's like, where?
It's so hard from Zoom sometimes. And he has like 4,000 tabs open. So I'm just like, oh my God, it's like in the 5,100th tab on the right. But we are using a program now called StreamYard that is way easier than all the Zoom stuff. And you can see all the comments and yeah, and you can stream to multiple places at once, which I really like. So we're testing it out. I did my first one this week testing it, and it worked well. Yeah. So hey, we're on Arden Chat.
So this is my friend Jen Gitomer. She is the sales guru. Like, ladies, fellas, all the people. I love Jen. We met almost 2 years ago now. So,
oh my God, it feels like an eternity.
It does feel like an eternity. Well, every day during COVID is a full year. So that's why we're all graying so fast. Is we were talking about all the products we're trying to get.
Yes.
Kristen Cavallari has one for blondes. Our friend, Kenna has sent Jen some things. We're all like, what can we do to maintain? I know everyone watching is like, first world problems. But when you're on screen all the time, it is first world problems. Sorry. And we're women, right? Like, men. Hold on. Let me introduce this. This is Arden's Chats. I started Arden's Chats because of things like this. I know the best people. I am so lucky to know them. And one of the things that when COVID struck, if you're watching this in 2022, you're reading about COVID in your history books. But when it struck, all of us with any kind of heart were like, how do we help? What can we do? I am not a trillionaire, but if I was, I would be supporting all my small businesses right now. But instead, I am a trillionaire when it comes to a network. So
that's good.
Girl, you know, I'm not successful. I'm significant. What is that? That guy that I'm like
I think you're both.
It's both. I'm such a diehard. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But I just want to start introducing my network to people, creating a YouTube channel, creating space for you guys to ask questions. And so Jen Gitomer was clearly on the top of my list. We do work together. We've got a program coming out together. But really, first and foremost, we're friends. And I love that. And Jen, introduce yourself to these people, because I'll keep talking about you, but I want them to hear from you.
Well, hey, I am so glad to be here. I think the world of Arden, and yes, we are friends, and we also have the most amazing business chats on the planet. And so, like, being a fly on the wall during those conversations, I promise, is very entertaining. I'm the author of this book, Sales in a New York Minute. And you know, when you write a book, you have to like have it at the handy, like at the ready to like hold it up. So yeah, I love sales. I love selling, and I love helping female entrepreneurs grow their businesses. And so that's what I think I was put on this planet to do. And you can't grow if you're not making sales. And so the whole thing is tied together, which is really awesome. And I'm just super stoked to be here today with you.
Yay. Well, tell them first. So we were talking about, Jen does a lot of things. So she and her husband have a podcast called Sell or Die. So we were talking about diehards. Jen has now created a Facebook group just for women. She's created a mastermind. So I'm putting you on the spot. What's your favorite thing you have created Q4 of 2019 leading into 2020? What's your favorite?
Q4 of 2019. So this kind of started then, and it resulted in what just happened this past couple of days. So I'm going to go with this. So last year, we decided for my husband's business that I help run, that we would put on a live event in person. And we sold tickets, and we had like 100 people coming, and it was supposed to be in March of this year. And as you can imagine, some stuff went down, and we were like, oh, we can't have this live event. What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so it started last year with this thought of, let's bring people together. Let's create this space for sales and positivity and growth and stuff like that. And it resulted in a 2-day live stream event. It went from 9 to 5 each day, although on Saturday, which was the second day of the event, it was 5 p.m. and we still had 90 people on the live stream. They did not want to leave. I was like, okay, guys, it's over. Bye. And someone literally typed in the chat, we don't want to go. Like, no one's leaving. It was so sweet. And it was the coolest thing because we had 7 or 8 different speakers. And I had never put on a virtual event like that. Like, we've done a lot of lives, but like Facebook Lives and Zoom broadcasting, but the coordination with my team of the different speakers who were all freaking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to present, and I made a custom presentation for this because it really is, you know, a different time that we're going through, and people want information that they can use right now. And so now that I've kind of recovered, it's a few days later, and, you know, I did 4 days of Zoom meetings, and the 2 ending ones were the 2-day live stream event. I can say it's one of the coolest things I've ever done.
I love that. So there was something you said right at the end, people need help now.
Yes.
Is that what you said? So go ahead. Why do people need help now?
So there's 2 different camps of people that I am seeing, 2 different camps of leaders that I am seeing putting themselves out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's the camp of leaders that say, the world is ending. This is it. Hold on to your money. Like the sky is falling. Okay. And they're in this, and I've seen, unfortunately, a lot of influential people who have big followings saying stuff like that and scaring the hell out of their followers.
Yeah.
And I'm in the other camp. I've always been in the other camp, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I'm in the, okay, there's something going on. That's reality.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's figure out how to show up and serve and do it in the best way possible. And quite honestly, it's not just like when 9/11, when New York was going through something, it's not just like one isolated area is going through something. Not that New York's isolated, but, you know, to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The entire world is going through something. And I can promise you, the leaders who are at the top of this country, the leaders who are at the top of the different countries throughout the world, they're not going to let the whole world vanish. That would be like unheard of. So we are in a new normal. And now we just have to figure out, in my opinion, how to adopt and adapt and come out on top. And I think people need to hear from more influencers who can help them during this time, because people are looking for positive, people are looking for guidance, especially because when they go on the news, when you type in whatever browser, whatever news station is your go-to station, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad out there, according to them.
Yeah. And let's be honest, there is a reality that it is scary out there. Like when I look at numbers, and we are really looking at people are dying. People are very sick. We absolutely should stay home. I started staying home because I'm like, I don't think I'm going to die from this. It's not my time. Sorry, world. I'm here for a while. But I don't want to be sick for 2 weeks. That puts me as a self-employed entrepreneur behind. You guys be sick. It puts you behind. So how do we, one thing you said was adopt and adapt. What are you doing to adopt and adapt?
So I am focusing on myself first more than ever, because in order to be a leader for others, you first have to be your best self. And so for the first 2 weeks of this thing, I will tell you, like, I came home from my mastermind that I'm a part of. It was in San Diego. I came home and I like sheltered in place. Like I like barely left my bedroom, and not my bedroom because I was staying in our guest room because I was isolating myself from my husband just to make sure that if I got sick while I was traveling, I wouldn't get him sick.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I had all the feels. I am not dismissing the fact that this is a scary time. This is a different time. You can be angry, upset, annoyed, pissed off, sad, scared. You can have all those feels. And still with that, you have an opportunity to choose to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a choice. I really feel it's a choice. So what am I doing? I've stopped watching the news. Well, I never watched the news, but I stopped reading the news because it's just it like consumes my body. I feel, when I was reading the news, I could feel my body going into like a fight or flight mode. I'm very in tune with like myself, and I could feel my body tensing up. And remind me about that in a second, because I saw this really interesting post on fight or flight and like sympathetic and parasympathetic, and just super interesting. But so I'm focusing on myself a little bit longer in the morning now, so that I can have that foundation for the day. And I highly recommend everyone do this. Like, you should have some sort of routine that kicks off your morning in a positive way. You know, I read, I write, I meditate, and sometimes I'm meditating 2 or 3 times a day just to find my calmness. But I'm really focused on that, because I feel like that's the way I can best show up for others.
I love that. I'm going to let that sit for a second, because that is one of the things. I had to do a virtual call with my doctor yesterday, because before any of this happened, my anxiety was just through the roof. And so we got on a new regimen. I had gained a lot of weight, so we had to redo some medicine and redo what my diet was and all this kind of stuff. And I was due for a check-in 30 days. Well, the 30 days was during this stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to go into the doctor's office. What can we do?
Exactly.
A virtual check-in yesterday. And one of the things that I love, we were talking about it, and I was like, it's hard to tell where my anxiety is at this point in time, because I'm scared. I'm also like grateful that I'm on some kind of medicine now that's like sort of calming my mind. I'm walking lots of miles. But here, when you were talking about meditation, here's one thing our healthcare she is providing me. She said, do you meditate? And I was like, well, I do, but also I pray a lot. Like, for me, it's like straight up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, and everyone does it differently, right? But I consider that meditation. And she was like, that's awesome. We have been given permission to send our patients meditations. I was like, that's
awesome. Cool.
I appreciate that. Please send it to me, because so many people are looking to meditate. They're looking to get centered. But once you do all of that, it's still okay to work. So that's what I want to talk to you about. The next thing is, you've gotten centered, you've adopted fight or flight. What do you do? Is it okay for us to be selling products right now? Because here's what I'm going to preface this with. I've got men and women watching. The first time this happened, a lot of women that I talked to were like, oh, I feel so bad charging. Oh, I shouldn't be charging. I should be helping. And my male friends were like, psh, you still want the same work, don't you? Yeah, it still costs this. And I think there's a balance between the two, right?
Yeah.
My sales guru expert. What's the balance?
So I took a deep breath, because
it's a lot.
This is something I literally get asked every day. Can I sell right now? And it's like, where did the world say stop selling? Business is over. Like, no one said that. Like, that's not a thing. The world needs to keep going round. And a way you can play a great role in that is helping the world go round. And what makes the world go round but money? Money is energy. And so, yes, I support local businesses, and I do what I can. You know, when this first started, I Venmo'd a few people money, just like because I could. And it wasn't a lot of money, but I felt like if I energetically put it out there and know that this world is abundant, quite honestly, if we need more money, they print more money. It's like not like finite, right? It's infinite. Okay. And so I really believe you have to have an abundance mindset, especially right now. And one of my favorite books about this is called Dollars Flow Easily to Me. It's a really short book. I read it probably once a month, literally, because I can read it in almost an hour. And every single time I read it, I pick up something new. And every single time I read it, I'm in a different state. Like right now, I'm in a totally different place than we were like a month ago. And so it may even charge new ideas or give me new ideas. And so I love that book. It's called, Dollars Flow Easily to Me. And I really have adopted this abundance mindset. Now, what does that mean? Like, yes, you need to show up more than ever. If you weren't going live, if you aren't putting yourself out there, now is the time to do that. And quite honestly, the coolest thing is, now is a time, if you start doing that consistently, like what you're doing with Arden's chats, and if anyone else starts doing this consistently, like you have an accelerated path, because you have an audience. People are home more than ever on their computers looking for something more than ever. And there are a bunch of leaders right now who are laying low. And so now is a time that you don't just you're not just able to like equal the playing field or like stabilize it, but you can rise above, because there's so much opportunity out there. But first you need to show up. First you need to show that you can help, and you need to give a message of hope and help. And yes, there are some products that people might not be buying right now. I don't know many people who are rushing out right now to buy a $4,000 handbag. Okay. Like that's just not at the top of our priority list based on what's going on in our world. However, for most small businesses and most people who own a business have an opportunity to sell something if it's framed in a way and you genuinely believe that it can help people. So like when we were doing that course, I talked about the 2-day live stream event at the beginning. Originally, it was supposed to be the 7-figure sales formula event. You think that's what people are focused on right now? No. People want to know, how can I react, respond, recover right now? And so we changed the entire messaging for the event. We had the speakers all change their messages for the event. And I'm sure this is something you teach, Arden. And I'm not saying this because we're on a chat together. I actually say this in all of my answers to this very question. Can I sell right now? Yes. And you need to make sure your messaging addresses the current market. You need to make sure you're not just being like, hey, come buy this software I'm offering, or come buy this very pretty candle that I make that smells really good. You need to talk about the fact that people are home more than ever, and how relaxing would it be now that you're actually taking advantage of your home to have this candle by your side. And that's just like one example, but literally almost every service or product right now can pivot in a way that still holds true to their core and gives them an opportunity to show up and serve their audience with getting paid for it.
Yes. And that's what I love. Like, so you and I think we were live, but we were talking about, so Jen and I we've always wanted to work together. We've always tinkered around different ideas, and I'm reading Think and Grow Rich right now. And what I'm learning for women, what I'm learning is I have a big imagination. It clearly, if you know me at all. But what I'm seeing is my imagination and my network, I'm able to put forth a lot of great products. It connects people. And so one of the things that Jen and I are doing, I was like, I love talking about strategy. Jen loves talking about sales. And then our friend Crystal likes talking about building raving fans. So we created a class. And the thing is, it's called the Lemonade Stand. I'll link it in here. But here's the reason we created it. And we did it fast. And this is what people need to know. Normally, Jen has spoken at other of my classes, and normally it's a 6-week process, and we're thinking about it, and what would be the best thing, and then it comes to fruition. But now we were like, people need it now. People need to know how to take setbacks, turn them into success, be significant, and they need all the parts. We did it fast. But you also talk about this a lot. We already had an existing relationship together. So when we're talking about communication, we're talking about these things, I do say that to people. Pivot, talk to your audience right away, but use your existing relationships. Use
Yes.
time, because we've talked about this forever, but make sure you're able to pivot very quickly. So what are other ways? I pivot in communication all the time. So if someone's they've got great candles to sell. One of my clients has great candles. Mackenzie has her subscription boxes, so she's still going. We've got y'all ask questions too if you've got some things that you're trying to sell on here. We've got some event planners on here. We've got some nurses. We've got some different people. What is one thing that people really need right now from your viewpoint that we're not seeing that's out there on the market? What is something that we could offer our audience to go, you could be doing this. This is a great pivot. This is a relationship. What do you think?
So, okay, two things. So one, I think that that's a very custom answer, because something that a nurse's clients may need is perhaps very different than something that Mackenzie's clients where she has the sushi boxes are looking to her for.
Right.
But they're all looking to you right now to be the leader. They're all looking to you for answers. And so what kind of answers can you give them of hope and of help? I like alliteration.
I love it.
But hope and help, because yes, there is a lot of fear out there. And, what's fear, right? Fear, false evidence appearing to be real.
Yeah.
Right? We all know the acronym, except it feels so real that it doesn't feel like fear. It feels like reality. And when you think about it, when you actually look at the numbers, there's not enough evidence for everyone to be in this panic mode. It's like, it's crazy. But anyway, other thing that I think is really missing, and this is a need that I saw was missing, and so I jumped into it. And like you said, like fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt women entrepreneurs right now need a space. They need a container. They need a place to call home where they don't feel like that solopreneur. They don't feel alone in their world, even though you're going on Zoom sometimes, and maybe Zoom's new to you, maybe it's not. I felt like they needed a community.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd been toying with this idea of creating the Breakthrough Business Babe, which to me, a breakthrough business babe is someone who's really focused on getting to that next level, perhaps creating consistent 6 or 7 figure months, right? Or consistent 5-figure months, whatever that next level is for them, and helping them with that. And yes, I'm going to have a paid solution, but right now I've opened up a free online community right here on Facebook where everyone can network with each other if you are a female entrepreneur. And I'm being selective about who comes into this space, because I feel it's my job to curate a positive, supportive, and just like overall fun and amazing environment.
Yeah. I love that. So I love that, because I'm excited to be in it, and I'm excited to see who we can build community with. And
yes,
we are getting to that, right? Like, we need community. We're locked in our homes, and we need a space to go and ask questions. So what's one question?
May I pop the link here in case anyone's interested?
Yes, please pop the link, because I don't know if I can. Hey, Kat, I can do that.
That's the link to the group.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One thing I'm thinking about when we have people get into these groups, I'm thinking about this with my No Charlotte group. I'm thinking about this with a Girl Tribe group or a No Joining, or all the different groups I'm in. One of the things that I'm wondering if people on here watching, I'm always a little intimidated to ask a question, because I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to look like, oh, especially like, hey, do you have any media contacts? I don't want to look unprofessional, right? Like I should know all the media contacts. I should know everyone. I'm a publicist. But there's times when I'm like, oh, that's a new publication, or I'm trying to get in. How are you, I'm saying all this, prefacing it with, how are you making people feel safe in your group?
So, okay, this is like my favorite thing on the planet, which is
know.
creating community, because you literally just hit my heart. Because when I
Girl,
was,
I know what I'm doing. I'm actually a really good interviewer. I'm leading you
pretty
right
good at what she does. She really
Yeah.
is. So when I lived in New York, I started a networking group from scratch, so to speak. And it was an in-person networking group. We met every week. We grew from one member of me to like almost, I think, 50 members in a short amount of time who came every week, were super dedicated. And then even when I moved to Charlotte, for my first year, I was flying home every single week to run that networking meeting.
I remember you telling me that. It's like,
because I loved it, because I created relationships in that group that have become lifelong friends, lifelong people I work with, do business with, and that kind of thing. And the relationships were so strong because of the community that I didn't know I was building at the time. But when I look back, I'm like, oh, wow, I did that. And so online, it's different, because online we're behind a screen, and I think there are pros and cons to that. People can more easily hide, because if they're not showing up, they're not being seen. Whereas in a room, people still see you, you know. But online, it's really important that the host of any Facebook community is creating that environment, is creating that space. And so every day I'm going to be having prompts in the group to get people talking. When new members join, I literally say, hey, I'm so glad you're here, because I am. And then I ask them, tell us about who you are, what you do, and who you're looking to meet. And so, like, for your question, Arden, like, do you have other media contacts? Yes, you have great media contacts, but guess what? No one in the entire world has all the media contacts. Not anybody.
No.
And so, like, I'm literally giving you that opportunity to say, I would love to meet your media contacts. If you know people who are in the media, I can help them. And it's not about selling to them. Remember that. It's about who you're looking to meet, because yes, you can help them. A lot of them are looking for positive stories right now. A lot of them are, right?
Yes.
And so it's really up to the host to create that kind of environment. And so I'm going to be reaching out to each member individually to introduce myself. I'm going to be reaching out within the collective, within the group, to make sure people are speaking up. And you know, I like, to me, creating this space was really important. And when I'm kind of a dork, and I do a lot of visualization exercises. Before I submitted my book, I visualized every day for almost a year the exact email that I would send to my publisher when the final manuscript was done. And like, I would visualize myself typing it out and the words on the screen. And then when it came time to send Dave the email, it was like, I didn't even need to think about what to write, because I had visualized it for a year. And so cool. When this whole thing hit, and I had already been somewhat toying with the idea of creating community and creating a space and that kind of thing. When this whole thing hit, I was like, now is the time. People need community more than ever. And I visualized in my head this 20,000 person group that I had created that had become the home for female entrepreneurs.
Girl, look at you. 20,000. That's a big number.
So you better invite your friends.
I do invite my friends, and we invite all these people in here too. So real quick before we go, I want to talk, we're going to give people time to ask questions, but let's talk about the lemonade stand for a second.
Yes.
Super jazzed about this. What for you, why did you say yes to joining this program? I
say yes to anything you ask.
I don't know. Why do you say yes?
No, I said yes. I said yes to joining the lemonade stand because I felt like it was a great opportunity to team up with you and Arden, with you and Crystal, to deliver a message to people who need to hear it right now. And I loved the idea that we put together of giving a short class for free as an introduction to us and our thinking about, you know, what's going on right now and how you can react and honestly like recover from it, right? And what you can do right now in terms of your messaging, in terms of creating loyal fans, and in terms of selling to people, because yes, you should still be able to earn $1.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we were talking a little bit ago about people aren't buying $4,000 bags right now, which is totally fine. But
and they might be. There are some people who are like, wait, there's a sale. It's only $3,900. And like, more power to them.
More power to you. But what I am encouraging people, and this is why ultimately the class we're going to do is, it's only going to be $297. I'm telling you, this class is probably at least $1,000 class. We're pivoting to meet the market where it is now. But people also spend your money in investing in you right now. Right? Like,
yes,
very important to shop local, but really look at what are ways that you can be investing in you to come out of this stronger. Yes, there are a lot of free resources out there. I'm going to tell you right now, when I do a free class versus when I do a paid class, you get an overview. In a free class, you're probably going to get a little bit of extra of me. You're going to get zhuzhy personality, but some of it you can maybe spend time looking up. But if you're going to do a paid class, especially with people like us, you're going to get poured into, you're going to get groups, or you're going to get extra materials. You're probably going to get a little bit of a follow-up. You're going to get engagement. You're going to build community. So I keep telling this, and I keep writing in, stop doing all the free stuff. Start investing in do the free stuff that's going to invest, like, look for paid stuff. Look for people that are going to invest in you. It's okay. Do you think? Or are you interested?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally investing a lot in myself right now. I'm buying courses. I'm doing things to improve myself. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't, ask other people to buy.
Right.
Like that's another thing, right? Like if you're going to put an offer out there, you have to ask yourself, would I buy this right now? And if you wouldn't buy it, then you have to rethink your offer, especially right now, but really ever. But let me say one thing on this. So when I was brainstorming my podcast episodes last night, one of the episodes I'm going to be talking about this topic of, when the pandemic is over, you're going to look back and say, what did I do over that time? And I think there's a lot of people who are going to go back to their routines and go back to their work and go back to their stuff and say, gosh, I wish I had all that time, because here are all the things I would have done. You have that time right now. Now. This is like, look, I don't want anyone to be sick. I don't want anyone to be dying. That part is crappy, okay?
Yes.
But the time you are being given right now is a gift. The time you are being given right now is a blessing.
Yes.
And it's your choice how you're going to invest and spend that time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was going to say the same thing. I keep thinking about this. It is a bummer. I was like, I should go somewhere. I'm like, I have never had more time to do all the things that I wanted to do. All the things that were like a Q2 plan, a Q3 plan, a Q4 plan are all getting done at the end of Q1 into Q2 because I have the time. Yes, I am still taking care of my clients. Yes, I still have clients. I'm still building business, but I'm also building, when we talk about 7 streams to 7 figures, extra streams of income. I get to take a class today to figure out what is this affiliate program I want to do. I get to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So invest. Find the right places, invest in the market, but invest in you right now, because I fully believe we've only had I was listening to your show, like probably influenza was the last time we've ever had something this huge. We will never get a chance like this in our lifetime again. I'm just telling you, as good, bad, or ugly, you'll never get this time back. So figure out, just like any time, but right now, oh my God, what a gift.
Yes.
You and I are like, last night I was doing this is, yeah.
the minute you change your perspective, because I hear a lot of people being like, ugh, I'm stuck at home. No, you're safe at home. You're not
Oh,
stuck at home. You're safe at home. And the minute you start to reframe these things in your mind, like, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. Well, why don't you think about this time as a gift that you can work on things that you've always wanted to do? There are people out there who have wanted to learn another language, who have wanted to try a different workout activity that maybe they can do during, that are streaming. There are so many, there are people who are like, I wish I was in touch with my family more. Cool. Get on a phone call with them. You have more time. So
yeah.
if you start to change your perspective and realize that this truly is a gift of time and you get to choose how you spend it, that to me, that changes everything.
It really does. All right, Jen, how can they find you? We've posted the group. How else do they find you?
Yeah, so I'm at Jen Gitomer on Instagram, and that's my favorite platform to communicate on. I DM everyone back who DMs me. But definitely connect with me on Facebook. If you're a woman entrepreneur, join my Facebook group. It just opened, and it's really going to be this amazing space for community.
Can't wait. And I love you and Jeffrey's Seller Dive podcast. I'm really excited for your podcast to come back. So pumped for that. And thanks. I'll post this later, guys. Once I record it, put it on YouTube. It's not fancy. It's just the same thing, but continue to ask questions, continue to get involved, follow her. Literally the other day I was like, how do I make money off my network? And she was like, oh, affiliate, blah, blah, blah. Here's an invitation. I'm like, thank you. That's all I need. Like, I love that as a resource. Like, things. So.
Oh, thanks. I love sharing my network as well. So yeah, definitely connect with me. I'd love to meet you.
All right. Well,
thank you, Arden. This was so much fun.
I appreciate it. It's been great. Bye, guys.
Bye.